Hey guys, welcome to the Growing with Harjots podcast. My name is Harjots and I am the host for this show. For those of you who are new here, Growing with Harjots is a podcast where I bring amazing guests from all walks of life who are of value, perspective, and great insight. As we go through the podcast, we will explore life from the perspective of another individual. We will go deep into understanding the individual's being to enhance our awareness so that we can live our lives a little more effectively. I hope you're as excited as I am.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning, Roshan. How are you?
So this morning I didn't work out. I got out of bed 5:45, right? Did some work on my phone, had some frustrating things going on with TikTok.
Okay.
And I'm hoping for something personal to happen, good for me today, you know what I mean? Which I won't talk about. So that's on my mind, and a bit stressed about that.
Okay.
And you know, I've got a bunch of video calls to the United States after I finish with you.
Okay.
That's why I said I'll hang up with you at 9:55 because it'll start to get too late for my US audience.
Yeah.
And these are calls on either consultations for the new items that they've paid for, or presentations for the new items that they've paid for and that I'm going to send to them.
Okay.
So my business has changed.
It's changed, definitely.
I've pivoted completely, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the borders here are pretty much closed, right? I think only Hong Kong residents or people with watertight work visas can return, and then you still have to quarantine for 3 weeks. So no business travelers and no tourists are coming to Hong Kong. So the only way to work is to work by video, which is what I've been doing from here now.
Yeah.
So I think since I started working by video, I don't know when it was, maybe it was in the middle of last year, I've already done over 200 consultations.
Yeah. Is this a positive change or a negative change for you?
Well, I mean, you know, you can't look at negativity, right? Right? And I know you're a big believer in that. The thing is that, of course, I prefer my business model to be the way it was before, where I had a minimum of 20 customers a day, 6 days a week, right? And I was really enjoying what I was doing and interacting with people in person, and my store was buzzing every day, and we were really busy, and things were amazing. And of course, you're making great money, right? Now it's very, very difficult because we have a huge team. I've got, you know, scores of tailors and a score of consultants, right? Which I've all retained. I cannot rip my team apart. I cannot let them go. I cannot and expect them to come back because we don't know when things are better. And we still have clients. So we have an absolute minute trickle of local clients. We are a Hong Kong business, so we do have Hong Kong clientele, but because we have 4 waves of work from home here, and a very hot summer in Hong Kong, 35 Celsius, a hot and long summer. It's been tough because not many people are going to want to buy suits, right? There's so much uncertainty, there's so much work from home, so there's less of a need to wear suits and stuff. And then the weather plays a big role as well. Saying that, you know, I've managed to, the positive is that I've successfully pivoted, right? So at least there is some income coming in from liaising with clients abroad. Now, what I'd like to say is that half of the work that I do with people abroad, at least half, is completely new clients who have found me through TikTok and Instagram, which I find phenomenal.
Yeah.
I just find it incredible. And they're sending me their measurements and they're sending me cash payments. And then I'm delivering for them, you know what I mean? And I'm talking to them constantly on WhatsApp video every day and stuff, emailing, text, and then, you know, a couple of live video calls. And I like to put everything out there live because everything I do, right, any of my content is basically quick and dirty, right? It's all off my iPhone and that's pretty much it. Nothing is staged. And there's no take two. I don't believe in take two. I'm Mr. One and done. And I like to go live in the consultations and presentations because I don't think that the client should feel as though we're exposing them in any ways. In fact, that I'm exposing myself and making myself so accountable. That everyone should just have full faith in me. You know what I mean? If I'm doing this live for them, that means, you know, I'm not screwing them. There's not going to be any screw ups. And if there are any screw ups on my end, then I'm going to be held fully accountable. So I always say that I'm very transparent and very accountable. And that was well before the pandemic. Okay. So I've just put that belief into this, and I think it's opened up a lot of people's hearts to me. Forget their minds.
Oh yeah.
It's opened up a lot of people's hearts to me, and I think that I've had this new trickle of clientele off of TikTok and Instagram purely because I've penetrated their hearts somehow. And I didn't map this out. I'm not a business plan writer. I don't map out what I'm going to do tomorrow, let alone what I'm going to do today. I get up early. I believe that the early bird catches the worm. If I'm working out, I generally get up, just before 5, so 4 something. And if I'm not working out, then maybe I'll get up at say 5:30 or 5:45 and work from home before I go to work. So I worked out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I did a podcast with Shanghai. So I started up at the shop at 9. So I didn't work out. Thursday, Friday, I worked out, and today I'm with you.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Man, I love your smile. It's like you smile and it immediately goes to your eyes. It's
Thank you.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's and like you said, you're raw. You didn't mention the word raw, but then that's what you are, because I myself enjoy your videos. And every time I watch like your suit video or something going on, it kind of captivates me. It brings me into your world, if that makes sense. That's why I feel like you have won hearts, because
tell me what videos you've watched recently, so I understand.
Well, I use Instagram, and I'm not too much on Instagram, but maybe I'll spend like 5 minutes a day, or just.
Did you watch long form video of mine on the feed, or you watch short form stories?
Oh, I watch the feed ones. It's usually the stories, where you have to click it for watch longer period. Yeah, those ones. Yeah. I just watch. I kind of just get absorbed by it. I'm like, damn. Like,
so what is your preferred content of mine? Is it the standing side by side with a Hong Kong client talking about the suit for 1 minute, or is it talking about options of suits when I'm consulting abroad, or is it about presenting the final product? So there's 3 types of videos that I produce. What is your favorite type?
I feel like all 3 are unique in their own way, in the sense that, like you said, it opens people's hearts. When all 3 of them, because they all show a procedure. This is what's different. This is why I really am inspired, and actually it's just a natural attraction towards you. I don't even know why or how this is, but even the first time I walked into your office, the first thing, like, in biology, we learned this term osmosis.
You've been to my shop before?
Yeah, I have.
When was that?
I'm the skinny guy with the black.
I remember.
I'm the skinny guy with the black, and you need to make me look bigger.
I remember. Now I remember you so well. Yeah. Awesome.
So the thing is, it's this osmosis. The first time I walked in, and I even told you this then, like, immediately, it's your presence that struck to me. It's not your suit or your work or your achievements, because like you've got all these achievements, but it's who you are as a person that struck out to me. You as a being, you as Roshan, like what
and you got that through video.
Pardon? What do you mean?
And you got that through my videos.
I get that through your videos. It's
and
this.
That's when you came to see me at my shop.
True. Yes.
Okay.
I did.
So so how many podcasts have you done? How many guests have you had already?
Well, I've had now, you're my 6th one.
And who are the previous 5? What's the demographic? Who are they?
Well, it's in general, they're entrepreneurs, businessmen, and anybody that has deeper insights on life. Because this podcast is not just about and this is my intention with the podcast. You know how we have podcasts where there's somebody successful coming on, and then immediately on the tagline it says, this so-and-so successful person, this billionaire, this millionaire, and that's the hook. That's the attraction. For me, I don't want that. I don't want that to be the attraction, because then that takes away from the humanity of it all, if that makes sense. Because in my own experience as well, it's in my field, at least, like when I first started, let's say, doing what I do, and I'm a trader. So when I first started trading, the bigger traders, they would feel like God. They would feel like, oh my God, this guy's out of reach. This guy is just so big, and it wouldn't feel as if they're human, because they would feel like this.
So how often do you put out a podcast?
Well, every week, once a week.
Okay. And then, so how do people listen to it?
Well, for the first year, I've had the podcast for over a year now, and for the first year it was just on iTunes and Spotify. But now my intention for this entire year is to just have it on YouTube as well, where there's actual video like that.
So you're recording and you will post this video, right?
Yes. Well, but going back. So the whole intention of this is I want people, like you said, you're raw. And again, I feel like we share mutual intentions here, because the intention with the podcast itself as well is to show your raw side. Because like, let's say on TikTok, like you asked me, what's my favorite, the 3 different types of videos, which one's my favorite? I feel all of them together, where one piece brings in the human side of you. Because let's say if you just showed me a suit all the time, then I'm only thinking, oh my God, this guy's some big suit tailor guy, and this guy is just all suits. But then when you show me like the behind the scenes, then I'm like, oh, wow, this guy is actually human too. This guy is asking if, tell me if something is wrong, we'll fix it. He's actually, like you said, you're holding yourself accountable, which makes you again more human to anybody. And that's why it wins hearts. So even with the podcast itself, all the guests I've had so far, it's not even guests. I don't even want to call them guests. I want to call them as friends. All of them, I've told them we're going to have this conversation as if we're long lost friends. And we're just having a deep and open conversation, not about business, not about anything else. Yes, that could be included because maybe that's our passion or that's our desire. But it's more about life and perspective of life, because and this is my selfish intention, is to learn more about life. Like, you
like my workout videos the most.
Why not? I mean, health is all there is, right? Health is all there is.
Yeah.
Health is all there is.
I love your energy as well. I'm not paying you a false compliment, and I love your bravery. You know what I mean? I love it that you showed up in my shop that day, and I didn't recall any of this right until just now. And stuff, and I loved it, the way you came in, you asked for me and stuff. You made me feel very, very special.
Okay, thank you. You made me feel special.
So yeah, a lot of what I do, right, a lot of the pro bono videos that I've done for people, for other people's content, is just it's basically to help the youth in Hong Kong. And if we expand from that, it's to help anyone in Hong Kong. Like, so next week, for example, I'm going to a staged event by the Hong Kong Tourism Board. Okay, where I visit a Chinese shop in Central, right? And I talk about the goods there, and I talk about Chinese. I haven't done this before. And it's to help Hong Kong, and it's to rebuild Hong Kong after, 1.5 years of decimation, the protests and the pandemic and stuff. So I was reached out to them. They reached out to me purely because of my social media presence and the fact that, every post that I make, right, every video that I do says hashtag Hong Kong at the end. You know what I mean? Whether it be on LinkedIn or Instagram, Twitter or YouTube and stuff. And they're hoping to tap into my network to bring out the positivity of Hong Kong, or to display it, to show it off. And for me, that's super exciting. I don't know what this gig is going to be about. I never researched anything before going into it. I stopped doing that a long time ago. I think you just get older, and then like, you're not trying to interview for KPMG or Goldman Sachs, right? Then you go and read about all this stuff, right? And my age, I think every conversation is candid. I'm not vying for a position, right? I'm there to converse, to give insight, to give opinion, and so forth. I think a lot of the media work that I've done, most of the media work that I did for over a decade and a half, was based on suits and my shop and my brand. What was just based on Sam's Tailor. And in the last few years, it moved to commentary on suits, commentary on industry, and now it's moved to pretty much anything: politics, life, whatever. I'm not being called in to talk about my business anymore. You get what I'm saying? So it's quite a sudden evolution, where I've become like a color guy or an opinionist or a columnist, but I don't write, and so forth. So it's been fun for me. So that's why I had no qualms about engaging with you. And the allure for you, for me, when it comes to you, was that, one, you're half my age or less, okay, and you had the guts to reach out to me. Two, I believe you're born in Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I think it'd be great because I'm born and raised here. You are from India. Your parents are from India originally. Yeah, same as me and stuff. So we have some links there and stuff. So I was keen on giving you my time. I mean, I had no qualms about giving you my time, but we have a cool chat.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So what would you like to ask me today?
I want to ask you something. And this is out of my own curiosity. I ask questions because I myself am curious. I have you here because I want you here. But at the same time, I know everybody else will love you at the same time. But it's for my own selfish intentions. But I want to ask, you know how you got behind you, there's all suits and stuff. So this is your business. This is your, I feel businessmen, the business is kind of like their babies and stuff. But what I want to know is what's underneath that, in the sense that underneath the whole business, because we all do certain things, not for the thing itself, but some underlying reasoning behind it. Maybe there's some story behind it where you make suits now.
It's a very long story, right? And I think if I give you something biographical, you'll understand. So I grew up here. I finished high school here. And then I went to NYU. When I graduated, I worked for a big British law firm here in Hong Kong for 6 months. Then I went and worked in London for 2 different startups for a year. Okay. And then I joined my business in the year 2000. And in the early days, now, if I rewind a bit, under the age of 10, if I was ever naughty, my mum would send me to the shop and I'd have to do written data entry. Okay.
And the very shop you're in right now.
Yes, and between the ages of 12 and 16, I worked as a salesperson here during Christmas holidays, Easter holidays, and summer holidays. At 16, there was no way I was going to work anymore. Maybe in 15 and stuff. But I spent a lot, a handful of summers, a handful of Easters, a handful of Christmas holidays. You know what I mean? So let's say at least 3 of each working. So that's a lot of time for someone, age under 16, right? I joined the business at 23 full time. And in my first 3 years, I worked extremely hard. And I don't know what was my passion or whatever, I was a young guy, and young people want to succeed in what they do. Okay. And how was I driven? I wasn't brand driven. I was me driven. I was financially driven. Right. But nothing was really mine. You know what I mean? I was just a salaried employee back then and stuff. But, I wanted to do stuff my way, but not as a stubborn child. You know what I mean? Like I just, I think when there's such a major generation gap, such a big generation gap between you and your employers, right? Like you automatically want to do things that are normal for that time. Okay. So we had the internet. Okay. And we had email, right? And I believe we needed a website, simple things, and that we need to take orders by email, and then we need to accept inquiries by email and appointments by email. The world had changed, and so there's a lot of friction. Okay, also the world was changing where people, they really had a desire, which they perhaps didn't know, for customization, and I thought that we could really differentiate ourselves by making interesting suits, not corny suits, not crazy suits, right? But just give some touches to make people feel more special. We could be the Ritz-Carlton or the Rosewood of tailors, okay, without increasing our costs significantly and stuff, but just putting more human effort, creativity, attention into the process. And we shouldn't be like McDonald's, and no swipe at McDonald's, but I think we were like McDonald's, where people came in and bought blue, black, and gray. And I said, we don't need to be McDonald's. We can be McCafe. You know what I'm saying? And we don't need to be salespeople. We should be consultants, okay? And help people and give them some real value from the product. They're going to buy the product anyways. They're not coming in not to buy, right? They're not coming in not to buy, right? But we can do something special. And so I think my creativity. Remember, I have to make it imperative that you understand and your audience understands that I don't push. I'm not a dictator. You know what I mean? If someone wants a really boring suit, go for it. You know what I mean? And if someone wants a really crazy suit, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm always looking to give my clients utility and longevity. Okay. And I always tell my clients, well, at the end of the process, you got to use the suit. Don't save the suit. The only thing that you should save is money. You're sitting in your wardrobe makes it the most expensive item you've ever bought because you're not getting usage out of it. It doesn't make it priceless. It makes it worthless. If you use and use and use your suit, you're going to feel great about yourself and you're going to get great utility from it. And the product we make, there's a lot of longevity to it anyways. So this goes for styling as well, styling and fit. I don't want to make something crazy unless he's already got 10 or 15 suits. I want to help people build their wardrobe. I want to be the foundation of their wardrobe. Saying that, it sounds selfish and it sounds like a lot of eyes, but no, I really want to give people what they want. So I think there was a lot of friction between me and the elders here initially. And how did this arise? My consultations took longer. I gave more for the same price. And so my cost base was higher. But, I always, try to explain to my seniors that if the bills on my suits are so high, right, the production, the raw material costs, it means I'm selling a lot of suits. You understand what I'm saying? Right? My way seems to have up the sales, right? So I remember there was one month where we had a bill of 9,000 US for linings, just for the linings. Okay. And it freaked my dad out. And that's 70,000 Hong Kong. I'm like, but then I've sold 70,000. I've sold, a lining cost doesn't cost that much. Say it's $500 for each suit, right? But but think how many suits I've sold. You know what I mean? Because I've made this intriguing way of selling suits. So we clashed a lot. And the major clash, like we'd have 3 people lined up side by side doing a fitting. My guy in the middle, a presentation. My guy in the middle had, a pinstripe suit with a peak lapel and a different color stitching here and a button. It's not a clown suit, but what the guy on the left had a plain blue suit with plain blue lining and plain blue buttons. The guy on the right had a plain gray suit with plain gray lining. And then they would be upset. And they're like, how come we didn't get this? And, it's because they weren't asked. They were not asked, right? And the generation of salespeople at that time, they were hired by the elders here and stuff. And, they bought into the, Happy Meal sort of concept. You can have blue, black, or gray. You know what I mean? The suit Nazi, I don't like to use that word. It's a Seinfeld phrase sort of thing, right? So I get a lot of grief, for that I'm upsetting customers. I'm like, no, I'm actually making customers really happy. And then, so we have counters here. And so our store used to be full. And, I'm talking about 2000, 2001, 2003, 2004. And customers would be peering at my counter, my consultation, because it was a true consultation as opposed to just a buying trip. Okay. So that caused a lot of friction and stuff. So I got beaten down by everything that I did. And by 2004, I had lost all the enamor and drive for my business. And that was that. I was just done. You know what I mean? So I took a sabbatical for 6 weeks at the end of 2004, much to my father's chagrin. And I went to the United States, and I think it was like 6 weeks. Yeah, 5 or 6 weeks. And I was just like, 6 weeks. And I was just like out of it. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I want to do, whatever this is. So I came back and I went from 3 years of loving my job, 4 years, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003 of loving my job, but being beaten down for it, to a year of couldn't stand my job, 2004. 2006, I got married, and I was like, okay, I need to reconnect with my work, right? And, I spoke to people all the time, and people I was serving, and I'm like, do you love your jobs? Like, we love our jobs. And why are we talking about their jobs? Because I need to figure out what to make them for their job. And I was like, it looks like I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. And I really don't like my job. So much friction, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just getting beaten down for everything. When Facebook came out, okay, and I'm an early adopter, so I believe Facebook came out in 2007 in Hong Kong, okay? So I started posting stuff on Facebook, and, I was just devoured by my immediate family, my father and uncle, and then my extended family, like my bua and my dad, my dad, uncle, and my bua's mama's kids, okay? They're first cousins and stuff, yelling at me, what are you doing? How can you put up business on Facebook? I was just like, I don't get it. We didn't even know what Facebook was going to be. We're clueless, right? And I was like, I got slaughtered for putting us on Google for any basic stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? When I had a BlackBerry and I'm answering emails outside of the shop, they're like, oh, you're going to be hacked. I'm like, you don't even know what hacking is. Like, it was just rain shit on Roshan. Okay, rain shit on Roshan. 2009, my daughter was born, my first child, and you know what? I just realized that like I can't let any of this garbage affect me. Okay, I can't, because I've got to live my life. And my daughter filled me with so much happiness. And then, I sort of was reborn myself. I had two more kids very fast. But Serena, my first kid, like, that was my rebirth. And, I just said, no matter what shit gets rained down on me, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And this is not being a stubborn or arrogant child, right? This is evolution, right? I felt sort of trapped, right? I'm like, they don't want me to go on the road. So I went on the road during 2001 and 2002 and 2003, like to New York and London to take orders. And that was awesome. I was absolutely awesome. But they didn't want me to do that. They wanted me to be a watchman, just stay in the shop, so they can go to the bank, they can go take a piss, they can go take a shit, they can go for lunch, they can go to the doctor. You understand what I'm saying? Be the watchman. You know what I mean? Like, we got plenty of money, you have to be the watchman and stuff. And they still like that. You know what I mean? Like, when I go on vacation, I have to give them 6 months notice, right? And stuff. And they're not transparent with their schedules whatsoever. Suddenly, like, my father will leave town, we won't even know. And it's been like that for I don't even know how many years. You know what I'm saying? Like, like even when I was a kid. And my uncle's the same way. He'll call me from the airport, I'm leaving. When you're coming back, I'll let you know. He doesn't tell us when you're coming back. My father and uncle, he's psychotic, right? Like, who behaves that way? It's disgusting. You know what I mean? It's hideous behavior, right? And stuff, right? So, a lot of my transparency is born out of this sinister way of doing things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? A lot of my transparency is, I don't lie. I'm accountable for everything. I don't sell garbage. I go the extra mile. I only like to work with recognizable brands. So there's more transparency. You know what I mean? I want to work with brands only like Vitaly Barberis and stuff, because they're a 3.5 century old company that just make fabric, right? And people all around the world buy their fabric. You know what I mean? I don't want to buy garbage because it costs less, and I don't buy gimmicks. I don't buy wrinkle-free stuff or treated stuff or copied stuff, any of that. You know what I mean? I stay away from the sinister. So even as recently as a month or two ago, my uncle goes to me, if you're going to shoot TikTok videos, and I don't shoot videos, right? I just, I record content and then I just post it. There's no, it's all raw and dirty, right? And quick. He's like, do it upstairs in the lounge and stuff. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I have this massive gap in my schedule between 1 and 3 p.m. Okay, where I cannot interact with clients because my uncle's on duty. It's just very weird, and I'm 44 years old. And prior to that, maybe a year before, he had told me, don't put stuff on Instagram. You know what I mean? All the other tailors can copy you. All the other tailors will copy you. And stuff. And I know this all stems from my dad, because only my dad knows what I'm doing. Okay. And it's just all weird shit. It's like all weird shit. When people tell me that, aren't you scared of putting everything out there? You'll be copied. And I'm like, look, don't take this in the wrong way, but I'm like the Elon Musk of tailoring. Okay.
Agreed.
But please don't think of that as being arrogant.
No,
I've always said, a lot of people have helped me to record, and I've done stuff in my workshops where I show the tailoring process, and I've talked to kids. I talked to Sharton College, a high school here, and took them from workshop to workshop. And I've always been told that you're exposing yourself too much. And I was like, look, by the time anyone figures out how to copy me, okay, if they think that's the right thing to do, and people do that all the time. They do it with the tailors do that with the Instagram account stuff. I've already moved on to the next thing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? So it's good that they spend their time trying to copy me, because I've already juiced all I can out of that way of doing business. Now they've set up doing it that way. I've moved on to the next thing. You get what I'm saying? I have no business plan, and I don't look ahead. I'm just, and I wouldn't say that I'm ambitious, right? I'm my work ethic is good. I like to work hard. And that leads to new things, right? You know what I'm saying? It leads to the dumb luck that keeps coming about for me. The dumb luck. Right? Dumb luck that Hong Kong Tourism Board calls me, we want you to be an ambassador for Hong Kong using your social media. I said, okay, easy. Hong Kong government recently it said that we would like you to be an advisor. We would like to join an advisory panel for hotels, because hotels are completely fucked right now, right? Hong Kong, it's like, I can do that. That's exactly what I would like to do. You know what I mean? And that dumb luck comes from putting yourself out there, right? It's like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? That dumb luck comes from raw. right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So like I've been asked to MC a lot of things in previous years, before lockdown, before protests and stuff. And I tell people, I was like, look, they've seen me MC stuff before. I was like, I can MC this for you, right? I can host this show for you. But remember, if you're asking me to do it, it's all pro bono stuff. I was like, you're asking Roshan to do it, right? So you can't ask me to be somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can't ask me to be Billy Crystal or XYZ or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to host this, I'm not trying to make an asshole of myself or ruin your occasion or whatever. But if you're asking me to do something, I can only be me. I'm not an actor, and I'm not content to be someone else, right?
Yeah.
But you need to think about whether you really want me to be hosting your event, your event and stuff, right? I can only be Roshan.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Which is just off the fly and self-deprecating. Most of the time, my humor is very self-deprecating. And it's my brand of humor, right? And it doesn't come across well to people. A lot of people, I don't know how, but they interpret it as arrogance. You know, the teasing of myself is interpreted as arrogance, which I don't understand. I'm making a fun of myself most of the time because I like being funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily you, my younger audience, or my foreign audience that feels that way. It's generally my peers here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I know.
Knowing me for decades and decades, you still don't get me and stuff. And I don't want to be got. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking forward to be got. I'm just looking to have some fun. You know what I mean? So I throw my kid into the mix. I throw my workouts into the mix. You know what I mean? I like to give my clients an opportunity to speak. And, when someone finds them dull, the fact that they're willing to go on the spot. I mean, if you see client talk for 10 or 20 seconds and then they're done and then I pick up, the vibe is so different. I'm suddenly much more louder and quicker and faster and stuff. And I have no teleprompter and I have no script. And I have no time to do stuff over and over again, right? It's just an injection of me, right? It's the rawness and stuff. And if you don't like me, you can turn me off. This is an old adage, right? I didn't write this. And stuff, but we have one life, we have to live it. That doesn't mean I'm going to go jumping out of planes because we have 3 kids. What it means, I have one life, I have to live it. I have a lot of responsibility. I got to do stuff, right? And there's no point in aspiring if you can't take care of your home base. And if your home base is so occupied, then you cannot aspire to open another shop or to travel or to do this or to that. You know what I'm saying? And now, after 20 years of immense success, we're suffering so badly because of the pandemic and before that, the protests, then you really need to look after your home base. You can't be thinking beyond, and you can't be thinking when are the borders going to open. You got to be thinking right now how to feed, how to eat. So many people I'm responsible for. So I look at life and everything like I do. I look at my shop. I look at my family. I look at my body. I look at my Instagram stories and Instagram feed. I look at my TikTok feed. And the comments that I reply to, people say, how do you reply to so many comments? I get inundated with comments on TikTok. Why do I post to LinkedIn? Why do I post to Twitter? There's no audience on Twitter. Why do I post to YouTube? You're getting maybe 19 views, this, that. Everything I do is a garden, okay? And I've only thought of this in the last couple of weeks. I am gardening, you know what I mean? I know nothing about gardening in real life. Taking out the weeds, cutting the weeds, putting the fertilizer, planting the seeds, planting. You know that not every seed will grow, and you know that not every weed you can cut away, right? And insects will come and screw you, and you'll have to have fertilizer sometimes. But I'm gardening constantly. I'm gardening, pruning, because I believe that I have to believe, right, that I will reap what I sow. You understand? And a garden will continue to feed you. Right, and then a garden when it grows and it's beautiful, people will come to see it. Right. So I know it sounds ridiculous what I'm saying, but I have to have that belief, right? And then every little comment that you reply to, you never know what's going to happen from that. Right? If people are taking the time to watch you and make a comment, then they deserve your time back to reply to their comment or question. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's very important. So I'm very, very thinly spread. I'm doing everything. You get what I'm saying? And that's what the pandemic has brought to me. Everything on my shoulders. Whereas before I could just be who I wanted to be. 20 people would show up a day. I'd captain from the middle and my consultants would take the orders. my consultants are very different now from the salespeople that we had in the first decade of my time here. You know what I mean? They're there to offer design and stuff because they know they'll be called out. Moreover, everything is out there. So everyone who showed up, they're not showing up anymore because the president shopped here, right? And they're not showing up anymore because of Google reviews and TripAdvisor reviews, which was huge during one point, right? They're showing up because of videos.
Yeah.
The Google stuff, they see videos, the whole process they've already seen. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't give it to them, they're gonna walk out. They're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? This is nothing like it. Right? So we come up with this. We're in a situation now where now I love my team and I love all of them, right? But the older consultants have not been able to pivot. Now this pivot has nothing to do with the pandemic or the protests. This pivot is to do with Instagram and YouTube and transparency, okay? They've not been able to pivot. So they're still selling blue, black, and gray with shit inside, you know what I'm saying? And boring on the outside. And then you've got half the consultants who I've hired or I've groomed who are young, right? Who are, under 40, under 30, and they're making magnificent stuff. And they're not making it to my mantra. I don't tell them you got to do it like this. It's like, you got to be creative. And, pre-protest, when I've got, say, 20 people in my store, and I'm captaining in the middle, and someone will turn to me and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I will say back, I think you should trust the consultant, you know what I mean? Because I've given them free reign to be creative, and they're going to be taking care of you every step of the process. And when my store was packed, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and when someone's doing a fitting, they would grab me and say, what do you think? And I said, look, it's very difficult for me to tell you what I think because I didn't start with you. So I don't have briefings. Now, listen, of course I can take over, but what would be the point? I want to empower my consultant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And I also want to solidify the respect that my client has for the consultant assigned to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? And when you do something like that, when you step away, when you don't give your opinion, when you throw it back to the client and the consultant feels empowered and respected, and the client feels more vested in the consultant. And so our Instagram and our TripAdvisor and Google reviews then changed to only work with Roshan. Because I didn't and I got shit. And I don't want that. I'm laughing, but that's not what I want. This is not an ego thing. I show it to people. It's like, you've got to evolve. What is this with being stuck in the mud, being stuck in the past? You have to evolve. And there are members of my team who have been here 13 years, 14 years, 15 years, consultants, who still act like salespeople, okay? Now, one of the things that we don't do and never done is upsell, okay? And this bugs our clients, our long-term clients all the time. Now, years ago, right? I feel like I'm dominating the conversation. I hope this is okay with you.
This is all yours. This is for you.
You're not even asking a question. I'm giving you all of this. And it's funny the way my mind is going. So years ago, I watched something on, say, the BBC, right? And it was about France. And you can't even go into a shop in France because of labor laws and taxation. Go into a bookshop, say, right? And have a person looking after you. Because in France and Belgium, it's so bloody expensive to hire staff because you've got to pay so much national insurance on them. You know what I mean? Like, shit, so you go into a store, there's nobody to help you. So I was like, you know what? I want to, if my client doesn't have me and they all only need me, then I want them to have 2, 3, 4 people looking after them. So I hired a bunch of consultants, and this was my new generation of consultants. And I surrounded my clients with consultants. When I went to India in February 2000, okay, I sat down at every hotel, coffee shop that I sat down at. If I put a cigarette in my mouth, okay, 3, 4, 5 hands would come out with a lighter to light my cigarette.
Whoa.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
This is 2000, February 2000. Same thing happened in December 2001. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? In India, every business has so much staff because the cost of labor is so cheap, right? Now, the cost of labor here is not, but you feel like a king. Every time I put a cigarette in my mouth, 5 hands, it's like a movie, come out. I was like, you feel like a king. So I was like, you know what? If in their own countries, because of their own labor laws and taxation, right, they cannot feel like a king, I can make them feel like a king or queen here.
Absolutely.
So we really need so much staff. I was like, yes, because we are an experience, okay? In my father and uncle's mind, in the old salespeople's mind, they're still all about product. But it's fine to be about the product if the product is great. But they're making shit. They're still making blue, black, gray shit. Okay. All right. Now it's about the product. It's about the experience. It's about everything.
Absolutely.
And for a long time in the past, when say TripAdvisor or Google reviews were a big thing, right? And stuff. But I think the world has evolved. Consumers are involved, and they realize that maybe 1 in 1,000 happy experiences post online, but 1 in every unhappy experiences post online, even exaggerate. So you can nowadays reviews are bullshit, right? There's no use. They're discounted. Even influencers are bullshit because they're being paid and stuff, right? You go and look at real life content of people's experience. It's all out there on Insta, right? You tap into that. If I'm going to say Cambodia, to Phnom Penh, right? Rather than watch a travel show, which I may do because you want, say, restaurants and stuff or whatever, you probably watch someone's YouTube video and see where they went. And it's only 10, 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. And you can see how a regular user had a regular experience and stuff, right? Yeah. And I think we've evolved to that, okay? And remember, again, it doesn't matter what I see. I'm not going to create content for that. I'm just going to keep creating my content. But going back to what I was saying about TripAdvisor and Google reviews, I tell a number of years ago, I tell all my consultants, and this was my mantra to them for a number of years, was that if someone comes to Hong Kong 2 days, what they don't realize is they'll end up spending 3 visits at Sam's Dealer. Okay, they'll come in to order, they'll come in to have a fitting, and they'll come in to pick up. If someone comes to Hong Kong for 3 days, they'll make 4 visits to Sam's. When someone comes to Hong Kong for 4 days, they'll make 5 visits to Sam's, et cetera, et cetera. Why do they do that? Because they get enamored by the process and they get vested. And if they have more and more opportunity to try their clothing, they're going to take it, right? So if you screw up their suit, no matter how good their stay was at the Ritz-Carlton, no matter how good their visit and walk on the Peak was, and no matter how much they were blown away by the Big Buddha, they're going to hate Hong Kong because they're going to hate Sam's Taylor because you give them a shitty suit. I feel we have a real responsibility to our clients in every single way, because this is not, I'm always telling the old generation, I was like, if they want quick and easy, non-experienced stuff, they can go to G2000, right? They can go to Brooks Brothers, they can go to Ted Baker, they can go to Paul Smith. You cannot think that you're just selling a suit, right? Because if that's the case, they'll go buy a suit. Yeah, they've come to you for a reason, right? You've got to manage their experience proactively. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to be there for your clients. That's the way it works.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you are Rolls Royce.
No, don't feel that way. I'm honestly, there's a billion people out there like me.
No, trust me. No, what I'm trying to say is, I feel like you are like Rolls Royce, where Rolls Royce, they don't just give you a car. You can buy just the car, but they don't just give you the car. It's not, you just don't get the car. You literally go there and design, like, what do you want? What's the interior like? What's the outside like? What's the wheel? They literally ask you, and I didn't know this myself. I was watching it on YouTube. I was like, what? This is how it is? Because for me, I was imagining myself getting a Rolls Royce, and I just went on YouTube and like looked at what it is. You literally design the whole thing. It's not even Rolls Royce designing it for you. You go and design the whole thing for you, and Rolls Royce just kind of makes it.
So, I don't know this because I can't afford a Rolls Royce, but that's a great story as well. And that's exactly what we do. We help people build their suits, and a lot of it has to do with questions that we ask. So like, if some guy comes in, he's like, I'm thinking of having a really bright blue suit. I was like, okay, but let's talk about what you have already. And if you only have 2 suits or 1 suit or 3 suits and they're a blue, black, gray, maybe you're not ready for a bright blue. Now, I want to give you what you want, and I don't want to take you a step back, but I don't want that thing to be sitting in your wardrobe. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So it's about giving clients what they want, but it's about giving them great advice. Yeah. It's about talking to them. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about my experience, right? Yeah. I'm not trying to talk them out of anything. I'm trying to get them to make the right decision for themselves. And that comes to styling, fabric choice, everything. Yeah. And with experience, I understand different working environments, right? Completely. You work at McKinsey, or if you work at Goldman Sachs, I know what the culture is there. And stuff. And it's also about bringing people out of their shell. You get what I'm saying? So it's both. It's about taming down their aspirations,
expectations, and aspirations. Yeah.
And it's about dialing up their purchases if need. And that's the way it is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a big responsibility.
Absolutely. I like that. And I'm conscious of the time right now, but I like that it's about the experience, because again, this is what I feel and I believe as well, is we're on this earth, it's, so to speak, coming from a spiritual sense, we're just here like astronauts. We will, like travelers, like tourists on this planet. We're here to like just experience everything around us, and then we have to leave, we have to depart, right? So it's that, more than the suit itself, it's the experience of the suit that because let's say I'm dying, I'm not thinking about, oh, look at my great suit, I'm dying in my great suit. I'm thinking about, oh, it was so amazing, maybe speaking with Roshan or like his team, and going through a process of building a suit, building a wardrobe, building myself up as a person.
We help you build your suit. That's what we do. We help you build your suit.
I actually want
to. I mean, I don't know. Many people ask me about competition, and I say ignorance is bliss. And stuff, because why would I waste my time? And you can slam me with this, right? Go ahead, it's no issue. Why would I waste my time looking what the competition is doing when I'm rather give my time to my clients? When I rather be more compassionate and endearing and invested in my own clientele. You know what I mean? And we take this process of discovery forward. And again, like I said, I think that creates dumb luck for me, and I've managed to become an evolutionist.
Yeah. I want to go in on this dumb luck, because I believe that we in this world, everybody gets exactly what they believe in. And I'm starting to get this gist of, one, you're an evolutionist, one, you're positive, you're always looking for the next thing. That's what's keeping you ahead of the curve all the time, where even in this situation where everybody might be like, it's so bad and nothing is going my way, there's things are happening for you because you're gardening stuff. I want to know this dumb luck belief, like, where does this dumb luck belief come from? Because of your belief, you are dumb luck.
I'm not an ambulance chaser, okay? Which is the opposite of my father. Now, my father is amazing, okay? He's absolutely fucking amazing at what he can do, okay? But I cannot do what he do. I cannot shoot for the stars and catch the star, okay? And I cannot be so focused on the star, okay? And let my garden wilt. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay? So he feels that for every star he gets, that will give a big boost to us. And it does, okay? But those days are gone, you know what I mean? You cannot get Cristiano Ronaldo, you know what I'm saying? You cannot, whatever my father's accomplished, and he keeps accomplishing, he keeps pulling something big out of his hat year after year. Great, he's good at that, right? Yeah. But I can't put all my eggs into that and go star chasing and be ambitious, you know what I mean? So what is dumb luck? Dumb luck is the Hong Kong Tourism Board approaching me to do social media work for them pro bono. You know what I mean? That's a dumb luck. Where did that come from? From being me. Okay. Dumb luck is the Hong Kong government approaching me and saying, come and join a special advisory board for hotels, when I'm so dependent on tourism, travel, business travel, and if the hotels are dying, I'm dying. If travel to Hong Kong is 99.9% down, then Sam Taylor's is 99.9% down. You know what I mean?
There's a correlation.
And before anything, when the gravy train was running at full speed, okay, when the gravy train is running at full speed, and we're just killing it, right? I still believed. Okay, I was a great believer. Now I don't know if this is leftist or socialist thinking, and I'm definitely cut from the right.
Okay.
Is that if Starbucks is busy, then the one shopping center will be busy. And if the one shopping center will be busy, then the Ritz-Carlton will be busy. And if the Ritz-Carlton is busy, then Sam's Taylor will be busy. You understand?
Absolutely. Yes.
So I'm not looking for bargains and discounts. I'm looking to best money abroad or whatever they said. If you eat from Hong Kong, you have to put back into Hong Kong. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I find taxes abroad extortionate, right? Because of the money they pile into welfare and defense or whatever, right? But I find people who don't want to pay taxes even worse. I'm like, geez, a whole family takes a fucking shit every day in the house. Where does that shit go, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about that? You know what I mean? It's going somewhere, right? We walk on streets that are beautiful. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay for the cops, right? You understand what I'm saying? And stuff like that, right? So I'm a believer investing in what's already around me rather than investing on some star chase. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? Invest in what's already around you. Yes. So that's my garden. That's
your
my
dumb
garden.
luck. That's your dumb luck.
Yeah.
What's coming to me is like, in the airplane, they tell you before putting a mask on somebody else, put it on yourself, that air mask. And I feel that's where the dumb luck comes. It's like, let's say we're in a plane and suddenly it's turbulence and the air mask drop off. If we go and say, you know what, I don't care about my life, I'm going to put it on you first because I love you so much. That's exactly the opposite of dumb luck, because now I can put it on myself and I can literally help everybody else. And now people be like, oh, you're so dumb lucky. Like, you can help so many people. But no, I just put the mask on first. That's all I had to do. And now that's why I can help everybody else without the stress or the pressure or the or just the sense of I'm gonna die. It's the martyr. It's like, nah, we all want to live. We all want to grow together. And if you are my neighbor,
dog. I mean, there's no more dog eats dog. I mean, it's not no more every man for himself.
Yeah,
and I think the pandemic has to teach us. Look, so I'm going to tell you something honestly. Maybe 11, 10, 9 months ago.
Okay.
A young writer, she may be 30 something, right? She used to work for Condé Nast in India, and she got married and had a kid in Hong Kong. So she's freelancing. So she wanted to interview somebody at the Rosewood. The Rosewood had just opened its doors, and the Rosewood's best hotel in Hong Kong right now. Yeah, I do a lot of work with them, and I patron them as well. And I could have just paid for her meal, no problem, right? But she's like, and same thing with the St. Regis. St. Regis just opened, beautiful hotel. So I contacted the head of F&B, their F&B director, the number one guy in F&B, so they're super senior management. And I said, okay, you write to them, and she will write an article interviewing somebody, and the Rosewood would comp the meal. Okay, how much is a meal? You mean $1,000 Hong Kong for 2 people? It's 130 US, right? Same thing as St. Regis, but both refused. And I gave them the top person. I gave the girl the top person to contact, and the top person threw them down to some PR marketing person, right? Throw down the chain. So when the top people from each hotel were in my shop, right? I said to them, you have zero occupancy. This is before staycations came, okay? I said, you have zero occupancy. You're dying, okay? The world is dying. There's no vaccination. There's people dying every day, right? I was like, you still are on your high bloody horse? You won't help this person? This person is writing something for the middle to low end Hong Kong market, okay? Which you can finally tap. But you don't even want to give her $1,000 meal, you know what I mean? And you're worried about this. I said, nobody gives a shit about your stock photos, okay? And this is why they're buying suits from you. I'm fitting their suits. I said, nobody gives a shit about your stock photos and your photography and come and stay at the Rosewood and the St. Regis and it's going to look like this. And, you will look like this if you wear a bikini. Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even forget all that. Forget you don't believe in raw and dirty and stuff. The world is dying. You still don't want to help somebody? You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me.
Absolutely.
You get what I mean? Well, listen, do you have one more question for me before I go?
Yeah, actually. Why want to help somebody? Why want to empower somebody? Why want to like the
because you cannot have a world with dumbasses, okay? All right? I'm not a politician. I depend on politicians, okay? I depend on the government. I'm not a cop. I depend on a cop. I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I depend on a doctor and a scientist, okay? And this situation in the world should teach that. If someone has so much passion to become a doctor or a scientist, but they don't have the money, but they have the intelligence, then you have to help them. I have zero passion to become a doctor or scientist or study that way, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
because you need people in positions to help the world. You know what I mean? I'm not doing Carrie Lam's job. You know what I'm saying? She's doing her job, right? I'm not doing the cop's job, the doctor's job, the government's job. You know what I mean? I'm not doing sewage or plumbing or any of this shit or construction and stuff. So you have to help people. You know what I mean? Because you need people.
Wow.
Right? You cannot do everything on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cure cancer. If you get it, you can't. Now I sound, I don't like thinking like this up in the clouds. You know what I mean? But you asked me a question. It's true. I'm a brick by brick guy. I'm a brick by brick guy. And that's basically it. But, you've got to help people around you. And that's pretty much it.
Before I let you go, I really, I need you to introduce yourself just so that people know, because people don't know who you are yet. I need you to introduce yourself. Who are you? We know Roshan now, but what do you do?
I'm Roshan Melwani, and I'm one of the people that runs a Hong Kong business called Sam's Tailor, a business that was founded in 1957. So we're over 63 years strong. When it comes to history, I don't believe in any of the history that's not recorded. So I only believe in the history that I've seen, because I believe that when people tell even a tiny little lie, and they keep telling that lie, it becomes the truth in their minds. So I don't believe in history unless it's completely true. So I'm Roshan, and I've been here since the year 2000. Or I'm Roshan, and I've been here since the year 2010. Or I'm Roshan, you can follow my entire life on Insta and think what you can think of. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. What's your Instagram handle? What's your Twitter? What's your Facebook?
Everything is at Sam's Tailor.
At Sam's Tailor, no space bar.
Yeah.
SAM. TAI.
STAILOR. You just type in Sam's Tailor, you'll find me.
Okay. I would beg to differ. You said you're based in Hong Kong, but I would say no. Sam's Tailor is officially 2021. Harjot Singh's words, international. He has gone international. So awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you, Sam. I really appreciate you.
You need help from people to take you international. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I need a compassionate audience who, even if they don't need a suit, would basically recommend me.
Absolutely.
You need to survive. It's not about thriving anymore. You know what I mean? We've all thrived. It's now survival.
Yeah.
Different phase in all our lives. Okay, brother. God bless you.
Okay. You
Send
too.
me the links when you
Bless
have
you
them,
too.
okay?
Definitely. Thank you very much. Stay
Great
blessed.
talking. I really enjoyed this. This was awesome.
Me
I want to do it again with you when you're ready.
For sure. Awesome. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Take care.
And just like that, that's the end of the podcast. If you stuck through and are now watching this outro, I am eternally grateful to you. Thank you for enjoying the Growing with Harjot podcast. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for being with the guest. Leave the YouTube video a like. If you're on Spotify, if you're on iTunes, leave a review. If you're on YouTube, leave it a like. Leave it a dislike if you disliked it. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think. And let me know who else you want me to have on the show, or somebody interesting, or maybe it could even be you, and I just want to have amazing conversations and get to know you, get to understand different perspectives of different individuals, different beings, and that's that. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you once again. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.